I'm finished, at least with my level 2 in foundation counselling course, because this week was the final week. And I feel pretty excited to have finished because it means I've completed this first stage of the journey towards becoming a counsellor. So let's recap. What did we cover in week 10? It was a fairly self-reflective session. We had discussions about the course practically, the learning we did, the exercises and how we found them, the changes or effects that we have seen in different areas of our lives as we've been going through the course, and then looking ahead, what might be in store for us in the counselling landscape. So for me, coming into the program, the thing that I was most excited about was the role plays and the skills practice. Learning theory is, it's good, it's important, but I need that tangible aspect of putting a skill to use, getting feedback on it, going away, making adjustments, coming back, implementing and seeing that improvement. That's a real driver for me. That's what's motivating. So, the biggest thing that I've noticed over the past couple of weeks, so the first role play was in week 3, and the last one was last week, week 9. So the biggest thing for me is a greater sense of self-awareness, really, because definitely in the first couple of weeks, I was approaching it with a problem-solving mindset, and I found myself getting stuck in the conversation. So I'm asking questions like, what can you do to solve this? What have you tried? Very focused on the problem and how to go about resolving it. Versus the latter sessions we did, where now I'm more focused on the person, their emotional and the emotional context, the things they're feeling, and how that is affecting them and the situation they're in, and things like using silence a bit more tactically to open up the conversation and bring more depth to it. And even with a basic foundational skill set to work with, it's still interesting to see the powerful difference between that kind of I'm going to solve your problem mindset versus I'm going to give you the time and space, let's explore what's going on mindset. And that sense of self-awareness and seeing those changes week on week, that has been perhaps the biggest highlight for me. And we also covered the four approaches at level 2. So transactional analysis, person-centered, Gestalt, and then the Egan's helper model. All 4, super interesting, all with their different intricacies. Again, at level 2 is a very basic, understanding of the models, but still, at least for me, what stood out was the Egan's model, and then transactional analysis, TA. And I think with TA, it feels very structured, and I can start to see how it might be a powerful way to work with someone. We looked at things like strokes, drivers, injunctions. Of course, there's a lot more to it, but even again with those basic, sort of pillars, looking potentially exploring, a whole timeline of somebody's, situation, whatever it is they're bringing to the counselling session through that lens. I think that really clicked with me. Then also the Egan's helper model. Again, that very goal focused, very direct. That clicked. Things like what is the problem? What is an ideal situation for you? Let's work on putting together some strategies to help you do that. So yeah, it reminds me of the work I do professionally, but then bringing in those counselling principles. So what's next? Well, level 3 is next, and I've already put myself onto a level 3 course, so I'm committed, I'm going for it, and that's going to be starting in May. So I've got a month and a half to sort of think about and start to explore the counselling landscape on my own before stepping back into the sort of realm of education. But yeah, it's been 10 weeks of learning, and the difference now versus 10 weeks ago in terms of what I understand and how I feel about the role of a counselor is, it's really insightful, really impactful as well. And it maybe sounds a bit cliche, but it feels like a natural fit. The tutor said the almost like you don't choose to be a counselor, counselling chooses you. So it feels like a natural fit. I've enjoyed working through the level 2, and yeah, I'm excited again to have completed it, to know, okay, this is done, this first stage is done, now we're moving on to the next step. But I have so much more context, insight, things in my toolkit to work with that can also transition into other areas of life. So what I'll be doing, the same way I've done a series for level 2, I'll also be doing that for level 3. And I hope, if you have been following the journey so far, it's been insightful. I've been able to express myself and how I feel from week on week, in a clear and interesting way. And I hope to continue doing that with level 3, and of course make improvements to how I do it, and how I go about sort of presenting the information, how I feel, and all the things that I'm learning and doing at that stage. So I hope you stick with me, and I will see you soon.